So what I learned is that 99% of salespeople
Mm.
earn what they need and then stop.
Mm.
They stop, they go to barbecues, they go to the beach, they take their kids to whatever, they watch TV, they numb out, they something, but they stop. And then they start again when they need more money. 1% of salespeople don't stop. They build wealth. They just keep going. Why? Like, what separates them? Because it's a level playing field. We all have access to the same resources.
Welcome to the Super Clinic Project Podcast, where we take regular clinic owners and turn them into cash-based multimillionaire entrepreneurs. Warning, if you're a doctor who listens to this podcast regularly, you will make millions of dollars. Do not listen to this podcast unless you want to be a successful clinic owner who helps thousands of patients achieve their health goals and adds more money than you can imagine to your bank account. You've been warned.
Welcome to the Super Clinic Project Podcast, where we take regular clinic owners and we turn them into super clinic owners. I'm your host, Jennifer Gligoric, and today our guest is an expert on real estate, taxes, and he's been voted America's most connected mortgage professional for 10 years in a row. In addition to all that, he's a certified master practitioner in neuro-linguistic programming. So we have a lot to talk about today. Let us welcome the incredible Eric Mitchell to the show today. Welcome, Eric. How are you doing?
I'm great, Jennifer. Excited to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. What made you decide to go into neuro-linguistic programming after everything else? You just don't put those together with real estate and mortgage. Well, not in my head. What made you do that?
Yeah, so when I was in my 20s, I went to a Tony Robbins weekend.
Oh,
It was a 3-day retreat, changed my life, put me on a totally different trajectory, and I was trying to understand, like, how do you do that in 3 days? Like, what just happened? And this is early on, right? You can tell from my beard that when I say my 20s, that was a while ago. And so I sat back and I said, do I want to learn what Tony Robbins teaches, or do I want to learn what Tony Robbins learned? Like, where'd it come from? And so it came from Richard Bandler. He went to a NLP retreat for 2 weeks, came out, wrote the book Unlimited Power, launched the Tony Robbins, but he had to write a check to Richard Bandler for copyright infringement. It was a whole thing.
oh, okay, yeah.
And so I decided I want to learn what he learned. And so I went to the source to understand neuro-linguistic programming. Went on a very long, drawn out journey because I was a naysayer. I was one of those. I remember one of my first events that I sat in to understand neuro-linguistic programming. I was only there on that specific night because I had a crush on a girl.
Oh, that's funny. You know, the best
Yeah,
people are naysayers who do stuff like that and it turns
yeah,
them into the raving fanatics when it works. And those
yeah,
are the people that it's easier to listen to. Yeah. Yeah. Because
yeah.
you're
And
like,
then
yeah, I doubted it.
and I'm sitting in the room going, "Oh my God, what have I got myself into? This is hocus pocus. There's no way this is real. Oh my God." And then we were doing an exercise, and I just humored the presenter at the time, the teacher, the coach,
Mm,
and I just went through the motions, kind of thing, and
mm,
then I literally felt my body shift, like physically
mm.
felt it.
Really?
Yep, and I was like, whoa, 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 that's not supposed to happen. Like, what was that?
Yeah. What was that? Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so well, how does this work? Like, what's happening? And so then I started becoming a little more curious, and then I tested it again. Because the way to think about neuro-linguistic programming is if you go into Home Depot
Mm.
and you're handy, does that mean that you know every tool and how everything works when you walk into Home Depot?
No.
No, nobody does. I mean, not really, right? And
Mm.
so NLP is like Home Depot of the brain. You're just learning tool after tool after tool after tool, learning how it works. How do I use this tool? And then you have this huge warehouse of tools, whether it be creating rapport, whether it be helping somebody with hypnosis, whether it be helping somebody with timeline therapy. There's all these tools. Um, like I remember doing something to solve chronic pain, right? It's weird.
So that would be very interesting because, you know, we have docs, right? That's what we'll be talking
Chronic
about
pain.
today.
And
Yeah.
if you're a doctor and you're watching this, right, your response is going to be, "Oh, please stop." And that was my response. right? And so the instructor of this particular segment said, "Does anybody have chronic pain?" And several hands went up. Mine was one of them. And he said, and asking each person, like, what is it? And I said, for me, it's my calves, right? I store all of my stress in my calves. And
That is so odd. I've
so
never
odd.
even heard
Yep.
of that.
I just know, like, they ache all the time, all the time. And he said, "Great, you're it. Come on up." And I said, "Okay." So I said, "Okay, we're gonna fix your chronic pain." And I was like, "Okay, that's you're not gonna do that, but sure. Hey, man, I'll go. I'll go with the flow."
Mhm.
Right? Like I've learned, who knows? And it's a very unpleasant experience because you have to unpack all of your emotions, and we did it in front of the group. I was in a safe place, and so I did.
Still, I would not like that at all.
No, oh
I would have
no.
so many walls up. I think I would just run out crying.
Oh, yeah, no, I was on stage weeping.
Ugh,
Absolutely. Like he
those are tough.
unpacked like some stuff that you just don't want to unpack. Right? Like
Yeah.
it's in a lead box for a reason. I don't want to open that
Mm.
lead box.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna open the lead box. And so I did. And then when we were done, it took about 15 minutes, right? Total time. He said, "How are your calves?" I was like,
No
"They don't hurt.
way.
They don't hurt. Like press on them." Like I was like, "Oh my God, this is not supposed to be. Like how, like they hurt 15 minutes ago. They're hurting all morning, and now all of a sudden they don't hurt. What? Because I cried? Because like what? No, that's not how it works. Here's how it works." Like, oh my God.
See, that's fascinating. That's absolutely fascinating.
It's super fascinating,
How did that translate to what you're doing with mortgages and real estate and helping people become investors and understand about that entire world?
Yeah, it helps me to determine is somebody motivated,
Mm.
right, by the right things that they're actually going to take action,
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
right? And so I can listen for the words that they're choosing, right? I've gotten good enough where I can, most of the time, right? These are gross generalizations, but most of the time, I can listen to certain words that people are using. And I can tell you how much money you make.
So that's interesting. So tell me if it was a doctor and so this is, money objections are a big
Mm,
objection in cash pay
yeah.
clinics, which is mostly who is listening, service-based people who are actually moving away from insurance or cash pay is, a big deal. They have a high ticket offer, whether they are a florist or a roofer or plumber, we've worked with all of them, but most of it is healthcare clinics, functional med. And so when they're here's somebody who has a painful condition usually or something that's really bothering, whether it's men's health or functional med or chiropractic, they're in there, they're taking them in, they're saying, okay, this is how much it'll be, and then they get bombarded with financial objections or whatever. Is there anything tips you can give from your training that can help them go, okay, they're not serious, they're a tight with this, or they're not ready to do anything about this?
So money is a logical
Mhm.
objection,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But we don't make decisions based on logic. So I've never met a human ever who's made a decision based on logic.
Right, they want it.
Well, they want the emotional component.
No, that's what I'm saying. They want the thing. That's why they get
They
it.
want it, but they
Yeah,
want it
but
based on an emotion,
yes, yes.
not based on logic, right?
Hmm.
So if I'm in pain, I want the pain to go away, right? That's
Hmm.
logical.
Yes.
But if you speak to someone using logic, they'll never make the decision to engage, right? You have to speak based on the emotion, right? So you're in pain. What is this stopping you from doing? Like, are you able to play with your kids? No, I can't play with my kids. Oh, that must hurt more than the pain that you're suffering. That, like, not being able to play with your kids, that must be even more painful. Oh my God, it's brutal. There we go. And so you have to address the emotional component
Mhm.
to get the decision based on logic. Because we make the decision based on the emotion, we validate the decision that's already been made with logic after we made the decision.
Okay.
But
And
you can't get someone to make the decision based on logic.
right, right. So and that is a very, and I want y'all to listen to what Eric is talking about, guys, because when we say use the Socratic method, probe, dig deeper. All salespeople, you're in sales whether you like it or not. You could be a doctor, but you're still doing sales. They have to trust you. They have to believe and value that you're the expert that is going to help them with their unique condition. And you're the person uniquely qualified to solve it. But they need to be talking more than you, and you need to be listening to those indicators. So what are some listening cues that you could say that may be able to help someone who's
Well,
having a conversation with, let's say, a patient?
yeah, so typically if I'm trying to get someone to make a decision,
Hmm.
there's a brain sequence that I believe in.
Hmm.
And so there's four primary parts of the brain, right? We've got the limbic system, also known as the reptilian part of the brain, which is I treat it like the bodyguard of the
Hmm.
brain, right? It's ultimately responsible for all things, but that's
Hmm.
part of the brain that controls your autonomic functions, breathing, blood flow, etc. Then you've got your limbic system, which houses your emotions and values and memories. Then you've got your neocortex, which houses all your logic and language and math. And then your frontal lobe, which is your CEO, your decision maker, right? And so I need the decision maker to make a decision. But if I use the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, then I can get that decision. If I come out of sequence, it creates chaos. So step one is I have to create structure, order, predictability of what we're going to talk about. So that's usually involves an agenda,
Hmm.
right? Like, hey, Jennifer, nice to meet you. I know that you and I have slotted 15 minutes to spend together. In that 15 minutes, here's what I'd like to cover. Here's the 3, 4, 5, 6 things, whatever it is, right? Here's the 3, 4, 5, 6 things with an end result of you being able to make an informed decision, right? That's comfortable for you in whatever criteria you have. Is there anything you'd like to add to this agenda? Is there anything that I'm not covering that you want to make sure gets covered in our time together? No?
Hmm.
Great. Okay. Agenda. So now what I've done is I've created structure, order, and predictability so that the limbic system calms down. There's structure to this, right? I'm not afraid, right? Number two, limbic system. So now I have to ask questions. So what are the quality of my questions to show the limbic system that I care? Don't go into your presentation. Presentation is neocortex. That's logic. That's after the emotions, right? I have to ask the question. So you're here today. I am understanding from the forms that you are in some pain. Is that accurate? On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is this? Like, are we scheduling emergency surgery? Is this like,
Hmm.
what are we talking about here? Okay. And so based on that, what's it stopping you from doing? Like, are you able to go to work today, tomorrow? Like, am I scheduling you in emergency session? Like what's going on? Okay,
Hmm.
and how's your family feel about this? Like, do you have a support system at home? Right? And so I call it caring enough to be unreasonable. So I want to ask questions that are unreasonable
I love that. I love that. Ask questions that are unreasonable.
because it shows I care.
Hmm.
If I'm reasonable, it's I don't care. That to me, that's how the brain interprets someone who's reasonable. You're not passionate. You don't really care. You're just trying to get a commission. You're trying to treat me because you want to get paid,
You're
right?
just following your script.
You're just following your script. That's great, but
Yeah.
you're not getting in my business,
Mm.
right? And so if you get in my business, like oh snap, nobody's ever asked me that before. Hold on,
Hmm.
now I need to think.
I think it's interesting you crossed your hands when you did that.
Yeah, well,
Like that was a
because that's how I get
challenge.
when somebody's unreasonable with me. I go
Yeah.
oh. Right?
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yeah.
a subconscious need to protect myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because but I'm protecting myself from me,
Hmm.
right? And so
Yeah.
whatever is the cause, right? We also have to. So I have a personal trainer, physical trainer, right?
Hmm.
And so I coach him a little bit on what he's saying to me that's right and what he's saying to me that's wrong, and
Hmm.
for his other clients. And so I was trying to help him, and this applies to doctors as well, is that if you're going to be my medical caregiver,
Hmm.
right? And you care, then you're going to have to at some point force me or try to force me to change my behavior.
Yes,
I have to
because
change my diet. I have to change my exercise. I have to change my activities. I have to change my schedule. I have to change my priorities. I have to change my values. I have to change my belief system,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you're just going to give me a pill,
Right.
which I don't think is the goal,
Right.
right?
But no, it isn't the goal.
It-
No,
it-
not for any of our clients. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so when you tell someone or you're trying to tell someone, right, to exercise more, eat better, get your macros in line, you got to take these supplements, right? Nobody likes that. You're telling me to change. I don't like change. Humans don't like change. We don't.
No.
None of us do. I like my coffee in the morning. What do you mean I can't have coffee? I don't like you.
That's so funny. But that's so true. Everything you're saying is like, well, yeah, yeah, no, they don't like
What
it.
do you mean I have
They,
to go
and
take supplements? What do you mean I need omega 3s? That's
can't I just be better and be better? Like, can't
right.
that just happen? This
And that's
this
not
very unrealistic feeling.
that's correct. Okay, so understanding, right? So
Mhm.
agenda, boom, 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 boom.
Mhm.
Now I'm asking questions like, are you at a place emotionally where you're ready to change? Because I'm gonna be suggesting things that you're not gonna like, right? Because it's gonna require you to change, right? You have to have maybe different foods, or you have to have a different sleep schedule, or you have to have a different schedule of your day. You're not allowed to sit in the chair for longer than 90 minutes in a row. You have to stand up and you have to walk around, right?
Mhm.
And like, are you ready for a lifestyle change? Because otherwise, I can't help you, right? Like you're gonna come here in a week, you're gonna go, oh my God, I hate this doctor because he's telling me to change, and then we're gonna part ways. And I'd rather just deal with what's real, right?
And that's a very different thing than let me just sell you, let me just get you closed, knowing
I'm
full
not trying to close you.
well,
I'm trying to
yeah,
unclose you,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because my
You're actually being a
time,
professional.
I'm trying to save my time as well as your time.
Hmm.
I'm committed, right? I went to
Hmm.
school for a lot of years, spent a lot of money going to school for a lot of years, right? I have a family to support, I have other patients to support, I have staff that
Hmm.
rely on me making good decisions. And so my decision is, are you committed? Right? Because I can't be more committed than you to your health, right? So you have a pain in your neck. Okay, we're going to talk about that, how to fix your neck. But if you keep doing what you're doing, it's going to go back. It's going to react back to being a problem. It's chronic because of your lifestyle. You're either sleeping wrong, you're eating wrong, you're exercising wrong, or not exercising. You're sitting too long. Like, and we're going to discover all of that. But this is a lifestyle discussion, not a here's a prescription discussion.
Yeah, it's so good because at the end of the day, you are being the professional that you want to be. You're not having to be, there's no sales
That's
ness
correct.
in this at all. You're just finding out, okay, you have a unique condition. I believe I'm uniquely conditioned to solve it, but are the parameters there that this is going to work? Or can I get you there because you've said you want this X, whatever condition that is. I think I can get you there, but is this a right
I
fit?
would say
That's a
as
very
a health
different.
practitioner, they know they can get you there.
Not all of them. I mean, there are some that actually will refer to someone else and go,
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. Like I'll
yeah,
refer you to someone, and that's
we don't
fine.
have decompression here, but
Yeah,
I
but I'm
know
not
of a
trying to
great
sell
guy
you
that
in that
does or
moment anyway,
whatever.
right? If
Right,
I'm
right,
going to
right,
refer you off,
right,
right? But if
right.
I'm a
But
chiropractor,
mhm.
like I'll give you an example. So I see a chiropractor because I
Mhm.
herniated a disc in my neck.
Oh,
And so I
sorry
went
about
to a
that.
chiropractor and he said, before you and I talk, I need you to sit in this room and watch this video. I was like, oh, okay. And he walked me into this little office, right? And there's a TV on the wall and he hit play and he left the room, left me there, right? And I sat there and I watched the video. The video was the agenda. The video
Oh,
was here, if you want to come here, here's how it works, right? Like boom, 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 boom. Complete structure. Then the video ended. He walked in. He said, do you have questions? I said, I have several questions. Great. What? Go ahead. What do you got? And so, but the video covered all of it. Like, we're going to fix you, right? But you got to come here in the beginning, you got to come here 3 times a week, right?
mhm.
And you're not going to like it. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm going to snap you like a twig. Like you're not going to enjoy, you're not going to like it, right? But we have to fix this,
Mm.
right? And we're going to create lifestyle changes. We're going to talk about supplements. We're going to talk about other things. But are you prepared to get this fixed? Because I'm not going to, coddle you. I'm going to fix you. Is that what you're looking for? Yes. Great. I remember I had a physical trainer back in the day, and I was overweight. I was really overweight. And physical trainer looked at me and he said, "Look, man, I don't think you want it bad enough, right? Like you're going to come here for a week or two because you're motivated right now, but then
Mm.
you're going to drop off. And I spent all this time setting up a system for you. Like I don't like help me understand what's going on." I said, "Well, I've got
Why now?
I've got an
Why
event
now
coming up
instead of
in
you?
3 months. I'm going to be on stage, and I got 3 months to drop weight." He
Mm.
goes, "Okay, so scale of 1 to 10 emotionally." I said 10. He said, "Well, look, man, if you're gonna drop that much weight in 3 months, I'm gonna have you puking in the park. Like, are you prepared to puke in the park?"
That's very honest.
I was like, "Yeah, I'm prepared to puke in the park. I will not stop. I'll just puke and keep going." He goes, "Oh, okay, that's the answer I'm looking for." Right?
Did you puke in the park?
Yeah, he had me puking in the park. Yep, it was brutal, and I
It
didn't
is
like it.
brutal.
But he set the expectation.
Hmm. But the idea was, but I can get what I want, and I can get what I
I
want
only
in
care
three
about the
months.
outcome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Emotionally, I need the outcome, right? And he had me
Right.
focused on the outcome. 3 months, you will weigh this.
Yeah. I want everyone listening to understand that I originally went into this talk to talk to Eric about, real estate and taxes. And we went into another thing, which I think is much more valuable, because we don't want your divine purpose on this planet is what you set out to do, right? And so most of our listeners, I would say almost like 90% of our listeners have figured out what their divine purpose is. They're working on it every day. And they know that they have a divine responsibility to do this out in the world, this service that they're bringing in their business out to people. And I want you to notice when he's talking about this, he isn't talking about we're running a $10 special or we're doing this and it's not a commodity race to the bottom. At everything, that might be your hook or your lead to
Yeah, that
get
might
someone
be what's
in.
got him in the door.
That'll get them in the door. But
Yep.
once they're in the door, it is up to you to have these important conversations and to utilize what these powerful tools to figure out if you can help them and to get them helped. Because at the end of the day, it isn't that $19 or $21 special that, yeah, it got them in, but it's can you help me get to this end goal? And figuring out if they're powerful enough to do it, and then motivating people who might be on the fence to give them hope again. There are people who are going to come in there who have their walls up. They're going to say, "I will only do it if insurance does it," or "I'm going to have to think about it ahead of time." And they will still close if you follow the full process because that you've went through the right sequence, right?
Yeah, yeah. So first is agenda. Second is ask really probing questions.
Mm,
Third is then you present,
mm,
right? And I can talk about what that needs to be. And then
mm.
fourth, you test close. So based on this,
Yeah.
is there a reason you wouldn't want to continue?
Yeah, I want to talk to my wife or I want to talk to my
Great.
husband, right?
And
Right?
that's awesome.
Right?
So what is it that they'll provide, either positive or negative, that would have influence over the decision?
Yeah. Have you talked to him yet? And a lot of people go, "Okay, bye." They won't
No, yeah,
probe at all.
no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what
I've
I'm
got you in
saying
the
is,
office.
right,
If I
right.
say okay, bye, it's over.
Right, it's over. They're not.
Yeah.
They're going to go back into the comfort zone in their unhealthy situation,
Mhm.
or if they're a med spa, looking at themselves in the mirror, going, "Yeah, I'm, unhappy. There's no hope." So, while they're there, you need to probe them and push through those because it's limiting beliefs, and fears.
And we
And
all
if you
have
can,
them.
yes,
We
yes,
all have limiting beliefs. We all have fears. We all have anxiety. All of us. Anybody says otherwise is just not in tune with themselves.
Yeah, they're limiting beliefs is what's stopping you from asking the questions you know you're supposed to ask. That's
There it is.
literally on your
Correct.
tongue. Like what, oh, I have to talk to my wife. Right in there is, well, what are you going to talk to her about? But yet you'll go,
Well,
well, I understand that, bye. And
yeah,
then
no.
it's done. And then they're like, oh, well, they must not care enough about me. They didn't
One of
even
the other,
ask. Yeah.
and then asking questions, like never ask a question with starts with the word why,
Mhm.
because it puts them on the defensive.
Ah,
Why do you have to talk to your wife? Because I said so. What do you mean why? Like so always what, how, where, when, never why.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a why personally. Why?
Ma-
I will.
But that's fine
Yeah.
if you're trying to just probe, but if you're trying to
Mhm.
sell someone on something or
Mhm.
convince someone of something, the word why is typically not a good way to start a question.
That's interesting. That's okay. Okay, that's a good
Right?
one to know.
So it's more, so why do you need to ask your wife? Right? That's put somebody on the defensive. You say,
Well, what would your
what
wife?
type of feedback that your wife might provide that would either provide positive or negative influence?
That's a
Now
good
there's no
question.
defense. Now it forces the person to go, well, I guess, right? Because what I'm trying to get someone to do is make their eyes go up,
Okay.
right?
I just did that.
And so when they go, well, there we go, right? You're going
Mm.
up into your brain to assess. You're making pictures and videos in your head of what might happen.
You're asking the wife
Yeah. And so
in
I
your
make a
head.
video
Uh-huh.
of, well, right, I'm in the kitchen, I'm asking my wife, and I'm going to say this, she's going to say that, right? Because if you're married, you already know what your spouse is going to say.
Well, yeah, they've told you I can't take this anymore. Your back is hurting all the time.
Or
You know,
yeah, or we have no money, we're broke. Why are you thinking about spending money? Like, right? It could be, I don't know.
because I want to be able to work more and I can't because I'm in pain all the time, and that's why we're broke.
But there we go.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so my solution works, right? I know it. I've
Mm.
got hundreds of patients, thousands of patients. I don't question whether my system works. It works, right?
Mm.
But it only works if the person in front of me is motivated to change. Right. And that might be a physical ailment. If it's a med spa where somebody might, they came in for the $49 facial and you're trying to sell them on a membership, right? It's a facial, right? Maybe not. It's like, well, like, what do having wrinkles, like, what does that mean to you?
Oh yeah. You have to
Right.
probe
Well,
it
I hate it.
more.
I hate, especially my crow's. Okay. So if I can make those go away, like, is that valuable? Yeah. You have a thing that makes my crow's feet go away? Well, so we've got this new technology, but again, it's not a single, like, it's not like a pill, right? It's not an aspirin, right? You have to
Mm.
come in, we have to do this, and right? And so I just try to gauge, is that valuable to you? Yeah, that's super valuable, right? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, then's the end result. Like what are you really looking for? Well, my son's getting married and there's going to be
Is
all the
there an event
pictures.
coming up that I need
Yes,
to know about?
yeah, there's something's
Right.
happening.
Is there
Or
is
I'm
exterior
getting
motivation?
divorced. I've got to start dating again. I don't feel, or I
Well, the
don't want to
divorce
get
one's easy.
divorced.
Like, is there an event coming up where you're going to see your ex? Yeah,
That's a good
there's an event coming up this week. Well, how do you want to look when you walk in? When you walk in that
You
room,
want the
how do you
glow
want to
up.
look in 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you fix that in 6 weeks? Yes, I can. Oh my God, I'll pay anything to get that. I say, there we go.
No, that's what everybody wants when you have to see an ex,
That's great.
not me. My thing is I will never leave the house without being fully done. And on the rare occasions that's ever happened, I've ran into everyone I went to high school with. I mean, it's like, really? It is 1 a.m. My kid is sick. I
Yeah,
literally came here because he's coughing and coughing. I called my
I bump into
mom,
seven people I know.
and
Yeah,
everybody just happens to be partying at Walmart. Like, what is going on? It's
that's
just the
funny.
worst thing. Anyway. Okay, so that's interesting because when you talking about why though, let's go back to the book, The Why of Money. Tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about the book. This is interesting. And guys, you're here on Super Clinic Project, and we are going to have Eric back. I'm gonna force him, hopefully, to come back and talk to us about the real estate stuff. But this is just such a good conversation, and it's meant to be. Sometimes the energy in the room says that you guys need to hear this, and so that's what's happening. So I really believe in that. But let's talk about the book, The Why of Money, since we're on the
Yeah.
talk
So it
about
came
why.
from a place of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So it started in 2004. I was in the mortgage business. I've been started in 1999.
Okay.
It's now 2025 as we're recording this. And so long time. But in 2004, in the mortgage industry, I mean, I was making more money than I'd ever dreamed of, right? Like it was just coming in like waterfalls of money. And
Ah, 2004.
it
This
was
seems so
great. It was a
long.
great time. And I had a mentor. I've always had mentors in my life, but at this time I had a key mentor, and he was doing a site visit. And so my team knew what he meant to me, right? This is the guy that I want to be. I want to be this guy. He's the
Mm,
smartest, nicest, best human I've ever met. I want to be this guy.
that's good.
And so he came to the site visit, gave us a lot of really great feedback. It was a day of learning. Everybody's really happy. And at the end, he and I are having a private meeting. And he said, "So Eric, I'm just curious. Now remember, like I idolize this guy." And he
Hmm.
looks at me and goes, "I'm just curious, with all the money you're making, like why is that important to you? Like what are you gonna do with it?" And I looked at him and I remember I couldn't understand the question,
Ah,
right? And I looked at him and I said, what? Well, I want money because I want money. Like what? I don't I don't even understand the question.
the young person deer in the headlights.
I'm
Look, I
telling
know
you.
it well. Yes.
And for the very first time, he looked at me and I could see disappointment in his eye. It crushed me. It cut me like a knife. It was
Oh, yeah,
brutal.
that
I
would.
hated it. And that look of disappointment, I was like, "Oh my God, I need to fix this." But
Yeah.
I don't even know what this is. Like what I don't even know what's
What
broken.
did I do? What did I say? Yeah.
Like if you ask Michael Jordan, why do you want one more ring? Because there's one more ring. Like what? Why are you even asking me the question? Like that was my mindset.
Hmm.
Why do I want more money? Because there's more money. Like what? And so I went on this journey. And so I set a criteria of people I'm going to listen to. So it was you had to be in sales, real estate,
Hmm.
mortgage, financial planning, CPA. I don't care. You sell for a living. You make more than $1 million a year.
Okay.
Okay, that was my criteria. And then I would
Hmm.
ask them why. You don't need $1 million a year, right? Like we all want $1 million a year, but you don't need it,
Yeah.
right? And so that means you're working harder than you need to. Why? What about that is important to
It's
you?
like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so what I learned is that 99% of salespeople
Hmm.
earn what they need and then stop.
Hmm.
They stop, they go to barbecues, they go to the beach, they take their kids to whatever, they watch TV, they numb out, they something, but they stop. And then they start again when they need more money.
Hmm.
1% of salespeople don't stop. They build wealth. They just keep going. Why? Well, like what separates them? Because it's a level playing field. We all have access to the same resources.
Hmm.
And so the first observation I made when asking this guy, and I was interviewing hundreds, like because I was
Hmm.
passionate about it, very traumatic event for me. And so what I noticed real quick is that none of these people that were making more than $1 million a year ever answered that it was about the money. Never one time. And so that was my first observation. Then I started compiling the answers and I realized that all of the answers coming back were in one of five buckets. There's only five categories of answers.
Hmm.
They were just, subsets of those five. So I wrote down those five and then I started testing the five. Like how powerful are these five answers? So, oh wow, these are these people go through brick walls for these five. This is not little motivations. These are bone crushing motivations for these people.
That's fascinating. So that's in the book, the Why of
Yep.
Money.
Yeah. And so I wrote a two-page treatment. Here's the five whys that
Ah.
salespeople can engage in that will change their activities. And so if you're focused on money, you're always going to be broke. And if you focus on one of these five, then you'll make money. But it
I,
can't be
I
about the
could
money.
tell you, working with doctors, when I first talked to him, we're going to be wrapping up here, guys, in just a little bit. But when I asked them about it, like, what's your goal? What's the goal? Why are we here? Why are you doing this? It's like literally the first call, and everyone that says, "Well, I just need to make more money," and I ask them, why is that? What's that going to do for your life? Well, how is that going to change things? What are you looking forward to when we hit that? If they don't have a good answer for that, they never hit it
That's
ever.
correct. That's
Never.
because they're
It's the
focused on the
people who
wrong
are,
things and they stop.
yeah, they stop, or it's not enough. People go, well, money, but money can solve this. If you're motivated for other things, but money can give you more time with the kids. You can build the house. Okay, those are interesting things. Let's
What
go
does
and
that
pro
get you?
those.
That's
But
good. But what
for
does
the
that get
people,
you?
yes, and you just keep on going. But for the people, it's not. No, I just want to hit this number, money to get money. They never seem to hit it, and
That's good.
they're not happy. Anyway, guys, we've just had the most incredible episode with Eric Mitchell. Eric, can you tell our Super Clinic listeners how they can find you?
Eric-Mitchell.com, ERIC-MITCHELL.com. All my information's there.
Okay, guys, and you've been here on Super Clinic Project. Please be sure to like, follow, and share. Go to superclinicproject.com and you'll get to us. And please leave us a 5-star review. We especially love the Apple, Spotify, or our YouTube. Love that. Just keep on reviewing us. It's how we can get incredible world-class people like Eric on the show to just drop things that are going to just expand and change our lives. Thank you so much, Eric, for being here today.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Super Clinic Project podcast. If you like what you hear, subscribe and stay tuned for further episodes of the Super Clinic Project podcast.